Hello, welcome back everyone to Not in My Lifetime podcast, episode 9. And it's been quite a mad week in terms for Manchester City, and we'll get into quite obviously into both the games that's happened obviously this weekend. But first of all, how you doing, lads?
All right, mate. How you doing? Cheers, boys.
All good.
Can't complain. 2 wins.
All good.
That's all we ask for.
Absolutely. Now, before we start on to the actual games, I need to sort of like bring up something quickly about. Sure, people who have my watching stream right now would have seen what happened on Twitter last week with everything going on, and obviously that lovely statement put out on a tweet between what I said. Acceptable. People will probably been said, but we don't stand for that on this channel. Obviously, of words used in that regard, obviously of people with disabilities and that kind of stuff. And for me, I've got a disability myself. But it isn't the point. Like that kind of word shouldn't be used at all. To in terms of arguments or tweets or banter or that kind of whatsoever. And see, the word is a word everyone uses anyway. But using the S word, well, I won't say it because it's not really right to say it myself anyway. It isn't right at all. And we're a channel and we're a community that respects other people and is very inclusive of others. That's what we're here for. It's discuss football, no matter who we are, race, gender, disability, no matter who we are. And that is what we're here for. I'm not here to, have to constantly discuss like this. But for me, I want to bring it out there. It's unacceptable. And I don't care. She has to apologize to me for DM. That's all I want to bring it up quickly. It's just, I don't stand for that stuff. I appreciate all the support from everyone. I really do, from everyone, obviously you two lads, and obviously everyone in the community, from City community. Appreciate it very much. And obviously, and the club obviously are getting it sorted and looking into it at the moment. But it needs to be talked about. Just to sort of discuss it, open it up, and sort of just. I didn't want to not talk about it, just quickly, but just sort of bring up. It isn't acceptable, and that's not what we're here for. But yeah. Anyway, let's actually get on to what we're actually here for now. Rather than just sort of talking about something quite serious. City. It's been quite a interesting week. Obviously, a positive week, to actually, win both games. It's always great, absolutely is. And, we'll obviously talk big about the performances overall. But I think, as Danny said before the actual, the stream started, it pretty much summed up our season in a nutshell, both these games. One game we played brilliantly throughout. Obviously, the team played brilliantly. The whole team played a minimum 7 out of 10. Then the Forest game on Sunday was just a complete mixed bag of a mess. Now, obviously, I'm not, it's not me having, a go. But I think people can understand, especially Alex as well. We'll go into it later on about his opinion on it all. It wasn't perfect. We won, brilliant. Of course, that's what matters right now. But performances are still big as well, and need to be talked about. But before we go on the game, let's discuss Brighton. We'll start off with Alex. Brighton, thoughts?
Perfect. Absolutely the best performance of the entire season. That's what we've been asking for weeks.
Yeah.
Regardless of the fact it was 4-0, it could have been 1-0. We battered them. Absolutely. From the first minute to the last minute, battered them, played them off the park. And Sky and everyone, whatever channel we were on, I tend to mute them anyway, but before the game was saying, bigging Brighton up, this is Pep's like assistant and all this, again, the master, the apprentice, all that bollocks. And we battered them. Absolutely battered them. And Sky hated it. I loved it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant performance. Can't complain at all. Not one bit.
Well, if you love something, you know that Sky are going to hate it, don't
you? Just egging Brighton to score at every opportunity they had, and it was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. Brighton playing out from their own box. That's suicide. Absolute suicide. And look what happened. 3-0 up after before half time. Game 1, job done, on to the next one. Brilliant performance. Perfect.
Yeah,
as far
can't
as
really
I
argue with that.
Nope.
It was a perfect performance from everyone. And that's
think for
an
me,
example of why teams are so defensive against us every week, because Brighton aren't a defensive team. They actually try to play football, and they try to play football against us, and it just doesn't work because of our press. And it's, they can't change the style, can they?
No, I think De Zerbi is that he has a style of play that I like to watch, especially when it goes really well. It is actually really, when it works and it flows really well, it's great to watch. But I think this season he has been found out. Too many teams now are knowing what to do, how to read it. Like Bournemouth, for example, battered them on Sunday. Bournemouth are great, by the way. I think Bournemouth play good football overall. I think they play better football than Brighton do at the moment. But Brighton at the moment this season, they're mid-table for a reason. They just haven't kicked off from last year. They bought obviously some decent players, but the fact that you have Danny Welbeck up front still, you haven't got a striker of a good quality. Look, he's not a bad player, by the name Welbeck. He's still a good middle table striker. When you got someone like Evan Ferguson, obviously who's injured, I guess, but they haven't got a striker who's clinical and put the ball away consistently on a weekly basis. It's just brilliant. So I mean, João Pedro is a good player, but he's still got a lot to learn, a lot to obviously develop in himself. It's still a good season. He was at 18 goals this season in competitions for Brighton, which is still brilliant. But you can see that they're a team that's missing a lot, and I think I was nervous obviously before the game, obviously because it's a big game. Obviously, up post Arsenal beating Chelsea 5-0, I thought, okay, right, we got it right this time. But the whole team were brilliant. No Haaland, but honestly, everyone did their job. De Bruyne, what a header! What's a header? This guy has played literally any games. He's got literally, I think, that more assists than any Premier League player in competitions. And not far off Verts and Grimaldo on assists. Imagine if he had played the whole season. He'd be definitely in the Ballon d'Or competition. 100%.
He'd have broken the record.
He would have done. I think he definitely will finish end the season, I think, on the most assists, I reckon, in the league. I think he will. I think he's like 4, I think, right now. So if he gets a few against Wolves, I think maybe against, obviously, Fulham, he might get a few, but I generally feel like for me, like that game was obviously big, not just obviously for De Bruyne, but also for Foden as well. Foden and De Bruyne that game were brilliant. That is exactly what we've been calling for all season. Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden in midfield. Obviously, want Haaland up there as well. That's always the dream to have them three as a sort of triangle with obviously players on the wings. And the wings were obviously discussed because the options aren't great. No Doku and Grealish can both play performances here and there, but we definitely need a top winger on either side. You know what I mean? So obviously that's a discussion in itself, obviously later on. But I'm happy that the midfield itself is brilliant. Rodri has played literally every game season apart from a couple, obviously because of suspension, and he's not obviously knackered, but bloody hell, man! The fact that he still puts in good performances week in, week out is insane. And we're blessed to have such a good midfield, but we definitely need to get a backups in summer because the guy's going to fall on his ass at some point. I mean, if he's injured for a long time, we're screwed. But yeah, but overall, happy. Just for once, happy about the performance. 4 goals. Alvarez even got a goal. Look, he's been a bit in this season, but still, the amount of goals assists he's got, which is insane. Not many games. We've had those in him, but with what he does pretty well most of the time. That's all I can ask him. For a backup striker, that's all I can ask of him. He's better than Zeus, personally, for me.
What was it I texted you boys after he scored? I'm so happy for him that he's got that goal. And I genuinely was. Like, I don't rate Alvarez that highly. I don't think he's our level. Shoot me. But I do think that he deserved that goal against Brighton. He played really, really well. He played really well. And he was tracking back, chasing the ball. He was trying to get on possession. He was just trying. And I know it was a tap-in because Kyle Walker nearly fluffed his lines and buggered it up. But any goal's a goal, innit? It doesn't matter how they go in. They all count exactly the same. And he deserved it, definitely.
Yeah,
it's his best performance for months. Yeah, it's his best performance for months.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant.
Best performance this calendar year. from everyone, really.
Oh, everyone. Yeah. I mean, what's insane is how we're still well. I know Madrid technically counts as a loss if we're going off past 90 minutes, but we're being real here. Unbeaten in 90 minutes at the start of December. I don't play well at all, apart from our games here and there. Imagine if we played well. This isn't
I
being critical.
I reckon if we had Rodri for those 2 league games, I reckon we'd be at least 4 points better off than we are now.
I think so.
Because look at who those teams were. I'm not. You can say I'm biased because I have Wolves tinting glasses because of my other half, and I don't. But I'm not sure we'd have beat Wolves on that day because they were flying at that point, and that's at Wolves. They're a sticky club to go to. I think we've only won there twice under Pep since they've been in the league.
I think so. There's a couple of draws. Well,
couple of draws, couple of losses. I don't think we'd have beat them anyway. So call that a draw. But the other one, who was the other one? Arsenal. We'd have definitely not lost to Arsenal. Definitely.
No.
That was just a complete brain fart of a cock up that cost us that game. So you take out those 2 goals, 2 draws, there's 2 more points there. Potentially one of them turns into a win. I honestly think we'd be 4 points better off, two at least better off if we had him for the whole season. Definitely. I think if the league wasn't already done, that's how good that man is when he wants to be. He's crucial.
I
think so anyway.
I don't think it's worth talking about what ifs or anything like that.
No, I get that.
If we win all of our games now with the squad that we've got, then that's all that matters.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally.
It's not worth going back over the season and just saying, what if Rodri was in the team? What if De Bruyne wasn't injured? What if Haaland wasn't injured? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
The nice world. the ideal world. To be fair, last year.
Danny, I totally agree with you, mate. You don't dwell on the past, like what ifs. I totally get that, and I'm a big advocate of that. But I can't help sometimes but think about it and just think, do you know what? I do think if we had him for at least one of them games, maybe we'd be looking to this weekend. If we won, we win it. Maybe. But
just the thing with that, it doesn't end once you start looking back on games. You'll keep going back more games.
Yeah,
and we'll
that's a very good point.
League final against Chelsea where Rodri should have played, and we all knew he should have played. It just it's endless. You won't stop.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Final.
What would have been if Dickoff had never scored that goal?
Oh god, then I'm going on the rabbit hole now. Stop before we get too far. But no, I think it was just. I don't think needed that. I mean, I said before, the team needed that win and also needed that performance. I mean, look, we'll score the Forest in a bit and discuss the differences in the performances, but I think I also want to give a shout out to Ake and Kanji. Because
two of the most underrated centre backs in the league. Right
Johnstone's been injured most of the season, right? And look, I love Johns, but the injuries are getting a real pain because it's like he can't get consistency at the moment because of the amount he gets injured and setbacks. It's just really delaying us. And obviously Diaz hasn't been himself this year either. But to be able to have 2 centre backs like Kanji and Ake, who bear in mind, Kanji cost about £50 million and up minutes backup, and he wasn't even like to start many games. It was more like a bench player or even a reserve centre back. He's been one of my best players this year. Honestly, I generally feel like he's been one of our best defenders or our best defender this season. Honestly, he's been that good. And Gvardiol's been great, by the way, recent games. He's been very, very good. And we'll go on him later on, especially in the Forest game. But Akanji has been consistent throughout the entire season. Yes, still a mistake, but every one of our defenders has made a mistake. Every one of them has. So let's not pretend that everyone's perfect there. But if I'm going off the best defender for the season, I'm giving it to Akanji because he's been brilliant. A real leader as well when it needs to be. Deals with the ball when it needs to be. Left back, right back. He'll do the job anywhere. I would say he's going to get better in the midfield option as well. I mean, I wouldn't say he's perfect, but he's getting better at that as well. And it's just like it's impressive to see how far he's come within the last was it not far off 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
I'd say if Pat's best irons. There's a value for money, and when we got him, when we expected of him, is one of our best. I'm not saying he's the best. Obviously, he's definitely a lot more players. I'd say that are higher than him, but as defenders, amazing. And I think it's just nice to be able to have 5 centre backs, let's say, that are actually good, top elite level. You remember when we had like 2 at most?
I remember when we had none. I remember when we had fucking Richard Dunn. Sorry.
On this channel.
Yeah.
We appreciate Richard Dunn on this channel.
Do we?
Absolutely.
I remember when we had none. So to have 5, look, I've made it no secret what my opinion of Akanji is. He's not that great, but this season, he's been the only one who's remained fit the entire time.
Yeah.
He's been the only one who can consistently say, I've had a clear run at games. I've had 10 games on the trot, 5, 10, 15 games where he's been able to just bang, 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 play. None of the others have. Ake, to a certain degree, he's probably second in that.
Yeah.
Diaz is our best defender, but he's nowhere to be seen. So he's useless if he's not fit. Stones is made of glass. So realistically, yes, you're absolutely right. Akanji is our best defender this season because he's been the only one who's been fit enough to play all season and consistently marshal the back 4. So this season, he has been the most senior defender because he's been the only one who's been consistently playing. Because
let's not forget he played the majority of last season as well.
And the majority, So he's learned last season. He's learned the logistics
quality
of it.
Performances for 2 seasons, and he's becoming a regular in Pep's team. He's
I think
absolutely one of the best bargains we've had under the Pep era.
For 15 million, you can't argue. But I think he's made to look a lot better. Last season, he was made to look a lot better by the quality that was around him. Because there's no way he's better than John Stones, and there's no way he's better than Diaz.
No.
Not in a million years is he better than them 2. That's ridiculous to even consider it. But the fact he's playing alongside those 2 made him better. I don't know whether I've never played football at a high level. The highest I ever played was at some school. But when I played at school, if I played alongside a player who I really, one of the best on the school team, it made me look better because they were class.
Yep.
It's exactly the same with Akanji when he's with Diaz, when he's with Stones, Ake. Because he's with someone who's class alongside him, it makes him better. And I'm not criticizing him here by saying that at all. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to say is because he's learned from that last season, he's learned from the best defenders in Europe.
Yeah.
It's made him better this season because he knows in his mind, he knows how the system works. He knows how to be a leader. He's learned from elite leaders like Diaz, Ake. Ake was Bournemouth captain. Ake was captain of the Chelsea youth team. Ake has been a captain of his club for years. Then he come to us, and obviously he's not captain, but he got it the other day, and there's a reason for that.
Leadership.
Because Ake is a leader himself. But Akanji's learnt from all of them, and it's just made him... I don't know who to describe him as, other than someone like Gareth Barry. If they're there, they're going to do a job, and the job they do is absolutely sound.
Yeah,
he usually goes unnoticed. Barry
goes unnoticed because he does the job. He does the job. And like I've said, I've made it no secret what I think of him. But in the last month, at least, I said to you, didn't I, Luke, at Wembley? I said, Akanji, wow, he's been mint.
Incredible.
And I think it's, and like I said, to me, it's very much that kind of unnoticed. He does a job. If he's in there, you're not worried. Even when Ortega comes on now, you're kind of thinking, yeah, mate, you ain't Edison. You're nowhere near. But you're going to do a job. You're absolutely... I'm not worried that you're in goal. Not like when Zach Steffen was in goal.
Yeah, that's not true in itself.
Not like... So he comes in and you're thinking, all right then, that's fine. That's not like a position I'm worried about a second fiddle player coming and playing. Whereas if it was like, if Akanji did get injured, then you'd start to worry because we haven't got anyone else who's fit enough for long enough. Maybe that would push Guardiola in the middle, finally.
Finally.
A centre-back playing centre-back. But I want to shout out him, by the way. How good has he been the last few weeks?
Stepped up.
Brilliant.
Stepped up.
Yeah. Really stepped up recently.
Next year, I'm calling it now. I reckon next year it'll be running for player of the year next year. I generally feel like when I watch him play, left back, and I want to see him and Diaz at that one point. Just them two just going in, being defensive warriors, because obviously them two together will be insane. But I've already seen already this season at left back. Saka, marking him out of the game, marking certain players out of the game. I mean, doing a great job of doing it. And it's the 21-year-old. Is that right? Is he 21 years old? 22?
Yeah, something like that. He's ridiculously young.
Younger than me, and he's just doing that. Like, people, I know it costs a lot of money, fair enough, but he will be the best centre back in the league at one point. Go in the next couple of years, maybe next year or so. People will say otherwise they want to, but when I watch this guy play, genuinely, I'm just in awe of how someone that young is so mature as well in terms of dealing with it. Yeah, Messi did him in the World Cup. That's Messi. Let's be honest, Messi's been done by everyone, but the guy is so good at what he does. So for Croatia, for us, for Leipzig in the past as well, he is a great defender. I'm so pleased we've got him for how many years before. Him and Ruben Diaz will be the future of this team going forward. Whoever we got after that as well. I'm blessed we've got them two at the back. Obviously, hopefully he gets full back somewhere, hopefully, because I think we definitely need a left back now of him. As much as I don't mind Guardiola playing there, I want to see a left back and a right back again. Just, back to the old school ways of 17, 18, a Frimpong or Grimaldo kind of style players who can sort of do that kind of dirty work up and down the wing, then go forward, that kind of stuff. But no, Josko, incredible. Big goal against Forest as well, which I will go into later on. But Brighton was good as well. I'm so pleased with him as well. People calling him a flop. I was baffled. He's been nowhere near terrible. He's been, I'd say, most of the year pretty decent, and the last couple of months or so, very, very good. That's probably what I'd say.
I think
Newcastle, that was the game I was really impressed with him.
Yeah. I mean, we all know I listen to other podcasts with City related, and the one of them was he's been banging on about Josko Vardiol for months since we signed him, and he says like everyone tells him that absolutely everybody in that City dressing room thinks he is the golden one. Like, out of all the young players we've got, he is the one that absolutely we have to sign because this guy will be outstanding. He will be mega. He's strong. He is quick as well, Vardiol. Very quick.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see it, can't you? Like, I saw someone on Twitter the other day about, like, signing of the season, flop of the season, most improved, blah, blah, blah. And everyone has put for the signing of the season, Vardiol, that I've seen. And I'd struggle to argue against it, really, because, to be honest, I don't really think any of the others, it's really fair because they haven't had a long period playing. All of them have had injuries that have kept them out for months. And I don't really think that's that fair. Yeah, okay, maybe you could say Kovacic is a signing of the season, but on what? 4 games? Probably not. Because, I mean, you look back at the start of the season, Arsenal away, for example, he was shite. But, so all of them you could twist it, but I think Vardiol's the only one where you could say, hang on a minute, out of all the times he's played, he's probably the signing of the... Out of all of them, he's probably the signing of the season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I said before about you as well, about Doku as well. Doku, for me, will be a better player next year and the year after. He's been pretty decent this year. I'm not going to say he's been great. He's been pretty decent. I think he definitely could be a lot better. I mean, Forest, he wasn't great, but then most team weren't great. And Walker wasn't good either. So I'm not going to pick rushing him, but Doku has energy about him, and he's doing the right things in terms of taking on his man and going for it. Which one want to see Jack do more of, by the way, but which we'll go on to later on. But the signs we've had this season, Nunes, not enough time for me. I know people say he's been terrible, but when I watch him play, you can see it, but he needs more time. Hopefully next season it'll be a much better season, hopefully. But I reckon next year, as we'll say about Pep signings, second year, kick on. Because if he ain't good next year, then I'm thinking the damn question. But I don't question Pep signings in the first year. I give him at least 2 years because, as we always saw with likes of Gundogan and Pep that, and obviously first year, and Leroy Sané. Give them time;
Rodri.
they'll get into their stride. Rodri, get into their stride. You just got to be patient with them. And I think Nunes, I'm patient, and hopefully he will get into that groove. Doku, the exact same. Vardio, I think he's actually exceeded what I thought it was going to be. He's actually got into the groove already. A slow start, but got into it even more as we go along. And I think that is exactly what we need to see from other players going forward. But overall, I think some of definitely wasn't good enough overall. I think in terms of who we got in really quality, but the players who have come in, they've done a right job. I'll say. Apart from obviously, Vardo's done a great job.
I don't think any of them. Danny, you'll probably disagree with me now, but I don't. I think the word flop for any of them is a bit harsh. I think because, like I say, they've either been injured and out for ages, or they just haven't been given a chance. Like, just give them a go. Like they are not bad players. They play for Manchester City. They cost a lot of money. They're not bad players at all. None of them are. Like, I think to anyone to say that any of the signings this summer have been a flop is a bit harsh. But I think in terms of where we are, we did, and people have justified it by saying we lost mega good players. Yeah, we did lose some quality players. We lost the captain. Yeah. But that's the club's fault. That's not Gundogan's fault. That's the club's fault for not offering what he wanted. In hindsight, would the club give him what he wanted now? Probably. If we could go back 12 months, they might do, if they knew what was going to happen. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. So I think calling anyone we've signed a flop is harsh. But I think we just need to evaluate it again this time next year. Like, if this time next year, Nunes has performed to the same level, then fine. I'll eat my words and I'll turn around and say I spoke absolute shite. Because I think he will be quality for us. I really do. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the fact we paid 50 million for him and I want him to be good because we paid 50 million. I don't know whether it's because I liked him when he was at Sporting and then he had some good performances for Wolves. I don't know. But I just think there's a player there. And I've backed him. And if in 12 months we're in the same position and he hasn't played, he hasn't been given the opportunity and, he hasn't been given a run, then there's a reason, isn't there? But I look back over we've mentioned them, the players that come in under Pep's first season. There's loads of them you could reel off who were shite in their first season. John Stones had 3 crap years and was nearly sold.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We were looking to sell him. Yeah. I know this is a different level completely, but Zinchenko was another. We were looking to sell him. We were looking to sell him to Wolves for like less than 10 million. And then all of a sudden, he turned it down. He didn't want to move. He stayed. He fought for his place. And he was one of our crucial players in terms of the balance in the system of the team during that title-winning season. I mean, just look at the Aston Villa game, last game of the season, if you want to know how good he was. He came on and changed it completely. We don't win that game without someone like Zinchenko.
Yeah, I think people forget how good Zinchenko was for us at times. Like, he wouldn't ever have been the first team left back, would he? But
no,
it's the same with Delph. They both put in really important, really hard-working performances for us.
It's exactly why we signed him.
Well, we didn't sign him as a left back.
Well, no, of course not. But
he was an attacking midfielder, wasn't he? And we moved him to left back, and he's still playing that position for Arsenal. Well, yeah, he's playing on the bench for Arsenal, but that's not the point.
Yeah, I mean, another player I think that did really well at Brighton was also, I don't know if it's been up all year, but Foden was great.
Yeah.
Phil Foden this season, I think, it really has matured and really come into his. I think the breakout year, I think, was 2021, but this season is world class breakout year. The year where he really sort of said to everyone, I'm really here now. I know last year it was good, but definitely a lot better. I think obviously injuries, also having appendix out was not helpful for him, obviously in terms of his consistency and performances. But this season, he really has stepped up into a probably our best player. I know people say about obviously De Bruyne's come back from injury. Haaland's been getting goals, but we all know he should be way more than what he is right now. If we're being real here, but Phil Foden this year has been our best player. Rodri, yes, granted, but if I'm giving it a player of the year, I'm giving it to Foden this season. I just feel like he just really has to come into his own and come of age. I feel him playing in the middle with De Bruyne, you can really see how much he's learned from David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. You can see how much he's learned from them, how much he's learned, from two different players of the game, but two legends of the game. Obviously, who you think's the others are you, but I think both De Bruyne and David Silva, I think, are equal footing in terms of ability and legendary status for City. And the fact that he learned so much from them too, you can see it in the way he plays, the passing, the intricate passing, especially in certain positions, to get out a little one sort of tight spots. He's really coming into his own. He's only 23 years old, for God's sake. He's 23 years old.
Yeah.
His prime yet. Norris, bear in mind, Norris Haaland, by the way, nowhere near it. We've got the two best youngest players. Obviously, you can say about Mbappe they want, but the two of the best youngest players, that's what I was saying, in the world.
Yeah.
In on the team. But, I mean, obviously, look, people can say whatever they want about other players, fine. But when I look at them two, I mean, Haaland is world class to me. He's done it for a number of years now. Foden is probably, I think, now there. He's now there at world class now. We've both got two world class young players in our team, fit and firing. All we need now is see both of them playing in the team every week. Next season, I want De Bruyne, Foden, and Haaland to be a triangle. To play most games next year. Obviously, a Paquetá or Musiala, whoever get in the summer weight, but I want to see that more. Just seeing that development of connection, because we've had some great teams and some great midfielders. Fernandinho, De Bruyne, Silva, Rodri, De Bruyne, David Silva, Rodri, De Bruyne, I can't remember something else, but Gundogan. We've had brilliant midfield trios, but Rodri, Foden, De Bruyne, Rodri, Foden, Paquetá, Musiala, it's getting better and better every year. And I'll let you guys obviously go on about Foden. I'll talk about how good he is, but this year, top level.
Yeah, I agree. He is starting to break into the world-class bracket now. And he's becoming that player who can just change the game out of nothing. He is becoming a really top player. And he's living all of our dreams as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Technically, I should hate him for
that. He's worked his way up through the levels. He's a City fan. He used to be a ball boy. He's doing what we all wish we could have done at his age.
It's incredible, man. Incredible.
It's a fairy tale for Foden, isn't it?
I think his best game.
I was just going to make a joke. I was going to say the only thing I've got in common with Foden is the fact I've got short hair on the back and sides, but I've got fuck all up here. So.
I think his best game, though, I think for me was Villa at home. Obviously, Brentford and Villa at home really just showed how good he was. Like, no De Bruyne, no Haaland, Foden, go on then. Hat trick. Free kick. I remember the goals now. A long shot. I can't remember the other goal, but 3 unbelievable goals.
The third one was he lost the ball, didn't he? The Villa defender lost the ball. He slipped, and Foden slipped, and then Foden just ran on, bang,
smashed it,
just hit it, slammed it. He had no idea where the goal was. It's just pure instinct on Foden, that is, because if you look, he slipped. He's hit the ball, and as he's hit the ball, he slipped.
Yeah.
The connection he's got on it is perfect. And look, he's taken one look, there's the goal, bang, and he was brilliant. He was brilliant against Brighton.
Same as his goal against Brighton, isn't it? Like pure instinct. His finishing is getting better every season.
84 goals now, I think. and people say not accurately, but if I'm going off 8 goals for City counts as a goal, I don't care if it's friendlies, whatever, it all counts in my opinion, personally. 84 goals, I think, now. He's 12
Yeah, I
Haaland,
thought that.
84
84
goals.
including friendlies, yeah. I think it's like 70 something if you don't.
Yeah, but people will get arsy of that. But for me, I count all those goals. It's my opinion. People have different opinions on it, but he's not far off 100 goals for City. Almost 24 years old. He'll probably get that 100 goals for City in the next year or so. That is
Do you reckon he can overtake Lampard?
What is it? 51 goals now in the Premier League?
Overtake Lampard in terms of like midfield Premier League goals.
I think he will. It'll be long enough. It'll do it. But he absolutely will.
He's not going to leave, is he? He just needs.
No, he's not going to leave, and you could say he's probably got 10 years left.
Just needs to keep that consistency and not have any major injuries, and it could definitely be a possibility, but we'll see.
No, I can't speak highly enough of him this year. I just feel like honestly, I'm so pleased for him as well because of all the comparisons to Saka, all these different, Bellingham. Look, Saka and Foden different players anyway. I think Saka's great at what he does anyway. I've always said that about every player. Every player is different. If I'm comparing Foden to anyone, I'm comparing to Wirtz and Musiala. That's what I'm comparing him to. Bellingham is a different player to them as well. Saka is a right winger. And he's probably the best right winger for his age in the world. That's the way I look at it. People can think differently of that. That's what I compare players to. Not necessarily everyone's the same age. Everyone is compared differently. It's like Haaland and Mbappe. Two different players in themselves. One's a striker, one's a winger. That is the way I look at it. You compare whatever you want about different players, but for me, that's the way I look at it. And I think Foden is, in the top bracket with lots of Wirtz and Musiala at that level.
Yeah.
Ability, that like the echelon. I mean, for me, I love Florian Wirtz anyway. For Leverkusen anyway, I think he's top level. Musiala, same for Bayern, but Phil this year has hit that level where he's doing what they're doing every week. And last year he was.
Carry on. Sorry. Carry on.
Well, I said before I finish off, I just feel like he's now hit the level where they're hitting every week, just constantly hitting the top level of goals and assists every week or every season. Which they were doing, I think, for even Musiala was 18 years old. He was doing it from, which was insane for him in a Bayern team. By the way, he's a brilliant player as well. If you ever get Musiala in, wow, that'll be a midfield to admire. Obviously, depends on Bayern or whatever, but that's a whole story in itself. But I think just when you watch him and sort of you see the comparisons he gets to other players now, he's deserved it. He's earned it. He's earned it, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally agree. I was literally going to say, I think the whole, best footballer in the world, you can never judge it. No. Because everybody plays in a different position. If you had the best goalkeeper in the world, and then the best defender, then the best fullback, then the best midfielder, then the best striker, you're talking a different player every time. The whole Messi and Ronaldo debate is you don't even get into that because they are just two of the best footballers that have ever lived. There's no doubt about it. But then if you look at if I said who's the best goalkeeper in the world, you could argue 3 of them are in the Premier League.
Alisson, Edison.
I'm being slightly biased with 2 of them.
Ortega? Yeah, I'll give that. I think for me, he's not far off. I'd say top 10.
He's the best second choice goalkeeper.
Oh, yeah.
So why isn't it? So he's got to be in the conversation for the best in the world, surely.
Oh, I think, but you know what? Yeah, okay. I mean,
that's my point behind that. But then I think, you could think best defenders in the world. Well, it could be any one of about 20, 30.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to consider a whole different range of leagues. And then you've got the best midfielders. Well, it's impossible to say, isn't it? Because you're going to stick by one that you think is the best. Everyone's opinion is going to be different. Danny, I know you don't like Bellingham. I absolutely adore the bloke. And I think he will be one of the best.
I don't like him. I don't like his personality.
That's what I mean. I do.
I rate him as a player. He's obviously a very good world-class player. He's just going to keep getting better for Madrid and for England. I just don't like his attitude. I don't like his arrogance.
See, I'm the absolute opposite.
Bellingham isn't
Or do you
world
think
class.
he's a shit player with a good attitude?
No, I mean like.
By the way,
no, I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's a fantastic player, obviously, but I also love that attitude. I said it last week. I'm a shithouse, so I can't exactly turn around and not like a player because he's doing exactly what I'd do.
Yeah.
So that would be hypocritical of me, wouldn't it?
Would have been the first time.
No, but I just think there's so many different players in different positions that you could say are the best in the world. Unless you've got a player who's like the Barcelona Messi or the Real Madrid Ronaldo, you haven't got a clear out and out best player in the world. For me, you've got players who are as good as one another. People will argue Mbappe, but Mbappe's never done it in one of the top 3 leagues in Europe. So what you like about the French league, there's 3-4 league, if not 4-5 leagues better than the French league. So if he did it in one of the top leagues, then yeah, he's got a case for it. But Haaland, he did it in third best league in Europe. Then he came to the Premier League and did it again. So that's one way to define yourself. And there's so many players in the same position. Like Bellingham, again, he's done it in Germany, which we're saying is the third best league in Europe, in the world. Same as Haaland. Haaland has come and done it in the first/second best in the world. So to say you're the best in the world, I think there's too many different categories you can go down. There's too many avenues. There's too many. You physically can't define it.
No.
Like, for me anyway. I just think there's, like, even looking at the best, your greatest ever, your football club's greatest ever. Like, for me, our greatest ever, you simply cannot define it in terms of, because I never saw Colin Bell play, so I can only go off what people have told me, or what people like my dad have told me, my granddad. But for me, physically, since I started going, the greatest I have ever seen is De Bruyne. I know Danny disagrees for a start. You think it's David Silva. But
because it is David Silva.
And there's absolutely an argument that David Silva is our greatest ever.
It comes down to that Messi Ronaldo argument again, doesn't it?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Like they're both absolutely incredible players. It's impossible to really pick one out of the two. And once you pick one, you'll always go with that one.
Yeah.
And
sorry enough.
Silva's always going to be the best player I've ever seen. In terms of consistency and longevity and everything.
I can always remember David Silva. I think the game was it was someone stupid. It was like Stoke at home. And me, my dad, my granddad were on the train back from Manchester. And this bloke said to my granddad, David Silva, greatest player City have ever had. And it was in his first season. And my granddad looked at me and was like, Alex, what do you think of that? And I was like, not yet. Not yet.
He's one of those say that yet. You could see it straight away. He's brilliant.
Yeah. But 10 years later,
yeah,
you can argue a case that he absolutely is our greatest ever. And that's what I mean.
One thing that we miss right now is Silva.
Imagine him now.
I just wish that we had De Bruyne and Silva together for a little bit longer.
Oh yeah, man. Honestly, look, I just don't agree with the whole it's clear, because it's not clear. Because you got to remember, Silva did things that De Bruyne couldn't do. But the problem is hard anyway. It's because De Bruyne can hit long shots front and centre and drive ball like Torre used to do. De Bruyne is a mixture of both Torre and David Silva, in my opinion. People say it's a bit mental, but different sides of the game. But he can do it. I know it's going tangent. We don't do it in a whole other stream. We'll do it at some point. But when I look at what David Silva did, especially now as I'm older now, when I've watched his whole time at the club, I can probably assess him. I generally feel like he's in my top 3. I know people think it's a bit mental. Everyone's different who love players anyway. I think it's De Bruyne, Aguero, David Silva. Everyone's different. Fair enough. If you agree with me, fair enough. I just feel like for me, that's who I'll go for as the 3 players that I've watched. People say Haaland, way too early for that. He probably will be in there at some point. Give it time. Give it time. But I just feel like when I look at players like David Silva and I've watched him play with De Bruyne, David Silva and De Bruyne, that 17-18 team, were ridiculously insane. Like the levels, like the way they both found each other constantly, assisting each other in midfield, scoring goals. It blew me away how David at 34 years old, I think at the time, was doing that. 34. Just thought, run back the years. Pace out of nowhere. Running it around, walking the dog at Chelsea, just stood around. The man was insane. The man, honestly, is a hero, an icon, a legend, a good, great, wonderful man himself. And obviously, Sociedad tribute to him was beautiful. I hope we do it somewhat for him at some point. I hope we get.
We still owe him a game, don't we?
Yeah,
I need to see De Bruyne, Silva, and Torre midfield again. Just one time.
I think they said
testimonial as well.
I think I read somewhere that they were looking at doing a joint one. Yeah, so obviously De Bruyne will be here next year. So that will be De Bruyne's 10th season. So I don't know where I read this. I may well have dreamt it. So please.
Yeah.
That I saw that they were going to do a joint testimonial for Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva.
What about Aguero?
Was Aguero there 10 years? Yeah.
He was. I'm pretty sure he was there as well.
Was it 9 years?
It was 11, 12 when we signed.
11, 12, 10. He was there 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years for sure.
Yeah, so he'll get one as well. So it could well be a trio one. But those two, if they were doing a joint one, it should be Aguero. Now you say that, I didn't think Aguero was 10 years, but yes, you are right. Like I didn't. It should be Silva and Aguero get one, and then De Bruyne has his own. Like Company had his own.
Yeah, well, they all deserve their own, really.
Yeah. I feel like though that won't happen this year. That I'll probably like next year or once all the work's been done. There's no way they're gonna do it now.
Yeah.
I reckon if anything, it'll be either next year or the year after. I know this is a tangent, and everyone watching this stream right now. This is what happens every podcast. So if you like tangents,
you're going to be Summerby's age when we
follow. This is what it's about. Pure, just chatting rubbish. Welcome to the stream. But no, this is it. This is I just feel like it won't be this year. If it's this year, I'll be very surprised if they did a last minute.
You'd have heard by now.
Yeah, it'll be next year or the year after. I reckon after once they've had all the work done and properly got the stand up a bit more. Probably when that's all done properly. But no, honestly, I mean, tangent aside, obviously, I think we've a long chat about legends of the club, which obviously we'll go on to more in future streams as well. Let's go on to the Forest game. Now then, I'm sorry to bring it up. Because we have to discuss the Forest game. Right, positives out of the way first. We won 2-0.
We won.
Gavardio was good. Akanji was good. K was good. Ortega, Edison did well. Both of them played. Either one. Rodri was good.
Haaland looked back to his best when he came on.
De Bruyne wasn't great, but got 2 assists. We take it. Haaland got a goal.
That's Haaland from last season. Took that goal really well. World class finish.
Brilliant. Now,
I didn't take long, did it?
I will start.
There aren't a lot of positives to say.
Kyle Walker. This week summed up his season in a nutshell. One good game. Absolute calamity. Hudson cooking him, Elanga cooking him. The second game. Genuinely, I've never seen a player so consistent all my life. I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there is. What happened to him, man? What's happened to him?
It's just age, isn't it? He's just losing his pace a bit. And let's face it, a lot of Walker's ability was his pace.
Pretty much.
He bails us out all the time. Like, it's his main quality, isn't it? Like, up attacking and defensively. But once he starts losing that pace, like he's using it less often now. And he's using it when it's important, and like on Saturday, he was struggling a bit with it.
Jesus Christ.
Like I texted you two and I said he is.
Oh,
He
carry
is
on.
almost.
It'll be back in a bit.
Like,
Yeah,
it is the beginning of the end for Walker. I think he has had a bit of a tough season. But
yeah, and
hopefully it's not the end of him, but we'll see.
I don't think it'll be the end of him. I think for me it's just one of those seasons where we know that we need a right back now. We need I think a Frimpong is who I'm going for. I think
I'd love to buy Frimpong. It's just his defensive ability. Like I'm not sure. The Premier League might be a bit too physical for him, but he is at a good age to join the league and then figure it out.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just one of those things where I mean, obviously it was just Walker that was bad. We'll go on to Grealish. Look, people will say whatever they want about him. Look, I don't think he was terrible, by the way. I thought he did what he had to do, but let's be perfectly real here. It wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. I felt like at times he was just struggling to get into the game. It felt like he had shackles on all the time. And
I think that's just the way that people have really high expectations of Grealish because of his value, which isn't anything to do with him. Let's just face it, Villa wanted 100 million for him. City wanted him, so they paid it. That's it. But Grealish does have the ability, and he does exactly what Pep wants him to do. He does it consistently, and people just want him to do more, which he can do. I'm not saying like he's doing exactly what Pep wants him to do every week, every game, and he's crucial to our system. People just expect him to do more because they're obsessed with stats. But when we have a bad game, Grealish is the one who gets abused because of his value. But when we have a good game, everybody's talking about Grealish being at the centre of it when he's doing exactly the same thing. It's just when everybody else around him is having a poor game as well, it's noticeable.
Yeah. Alex, Jack Grealish.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened with my connection there, but we're back. I've had to switch devices because for some reason my iPad's decided it's going to crash. Grealish. Yeah, my iPad's just done. It's been about as useful as Jack Grealish was on Sunday. Absolute shite. And I'm sorry. Right. Everybody slams Doku for running at defenders. But answer me one question. Is a winger not supposed to run at a defender?
Yep.
Depends
what you say a winger is. Like the traditional sense of a winger hasn't really been in the game for a long time. It's becoming all wingers cut inside now, don't they? There isn't really a traditional sense of a winger anymore. Doku usually plays on the left, cutting in.
I don't know.
Grealish plays on the left, he cuts in. Mahrez, he always cuts in, didn't he? Like, what is the traditional winger now?
But Mahrez only had the first touch. Take Mahrez's first touch out, you ain't got Riyad Mahrez. Like, I think for Jack, I will just say this, and that's all I'm going to say. Our best performance of the season was the 75 minutes. He wasn't even on the pitch against Brighton. And we absolutely took control of the Nottingham Forest game the moment he went off. And look, I'm not saying Doku was very good because he was poor as well. But the moment Jack was sub for Haaland, we were a completely different team. He is not that good. And I'm sorry, for someone who's been here 3 years now, and yes, I know I mentioned that John Stones could have been sold after 3 years and he came good, look what he's done. And I hope Jack does the same. But to have 6 months out of Jack Grealish where you actually stand up and applaud what he's done, 6 months of 3 years, he's had 30 months where he's been crap and bang average. And yeah, you can look at stats.
I don't agree with that.
You could look at stats and you can say, oh, the people rely on stats. He doesn't do anything for me. He just runs and then stops. And then you just think, oh, Ederson's got the ball. What a waste of time that was. So like, I'll be at the Etihad. We'll be bombing forward. Everyone will stand up. Got a chance. Grealish gets the ball. Go on, run at him. Oh, Ederson's got the ball. Sit down again. Right, waste of time that was. 5 minutes later, the same thing. Just attack the ball. Attack the defence. If you lose the ball, we have got right back and a left back who are quick enough to cover. I could think of one good thing he's done over the last year. And we didn't even win the game in that thing he did well, which was come off the bench against Tottenham and score. That I'm losing my patience with him big time, because I think for 100 million, and people are going to slam me for this, for 100 million, that guy has got to do more. I'm sorry. The price tag isn't his fault. You can say that. It's not about stats. It's not about assists. Fine. He doesn't do anything else. And if he went to Villa this summer, I couldn't care less, because we would sign someone better. I'm sorry.
I don't agree with that at all.
6 months from 3 years. That ain't it for £100 million player. And I've said it before. I'll say it again.
Player for Pep's system. Pep is all about control and ball retention. Grealish is one of the best at that, and that's exactly why Pep plays him, and that's why Pep bought him. It doesn't matter what you want Grealish to do, because he's doing exactly what Pep wants Grealish to do.
But then, like I say, our best performance was without him, and look, we battered Brighton. People were saying that was a tough game. Yeah, it probably is, but we took them apart without him.
We battered them without Haaland as well. Does that mean that Haaland's not good enough?
Do you know what? Do we play a little bit better without him? Do we? Are we slightly more direct? No, I'm asking a genuine question. Are we slightly more direct without Haaland? Maybe. Look, we're not a better team without him. I'm not saying we're a better team without him, but we are definitely more direct.
I'll be real. I think for me, right, because obviously me and my mum says perfectly enough time to watch everything together. She's baffled at how Jack is just so, he hasn't allowed to sort of do what he wants. You know at Villa how he was able to run at players, like the Liverpool game won 7-2, the United game where he scored them goal. Why is he so pushed away?
Yeah.
He needs to be able to have freedom. I'm getting tired now of like watching him just not allowed to do what he wants to do. I'm not saying he has to like hiss about with it, but for God's sake, like the man is obviously a very, very good level player. I think he's actually better than what people think he is. But I just feel like if we're gonna play Jack Grealish on the left, you've got to let him go at defenders and run and win the fouls. Now that's what he's good at. The reason why we did so well last year was he was able to defend, win free kicks, ball in the box, Haaland, the Kanji Diaz, whoever it is, goal. Because he was able to win those free kicks for us. This year, he's winning them, but it's like I watch forward and backwards. It's like constantly, I'm not saying I don't want him in the team, but if we're going to play him in the team, I want to see him get on players. Shackles off. I'm not saying, again, people are like, oh, but what about the control? Control, yes, of course, he'd have control, but that's what midfielders are there for. Our wingers are there to run at the fullbacks. Our midfield
is that not a Pep winger though? Like all of his players are midfielders. His defenders are midfielders. His strikers do the same job as a midfielder.
I get that argument.
It goes back to the winger argument again. Like the traditional sense of a winger hasn't been the case for about 10 years. Like players don't really dribble and run at players anymore. Like,
see, as much I do get that,
it's a completely different game to like wingers don't really fit into the game like they used to. Like we see it with Doku. Doku does run at players, but a lot of the time it doesn't result in anything.
But then why is he allowed to?
He'll run at defenders and just run into someone or knock the ball out of play or give the ball away with a cross when he's not looking. And is that better than keeping the ball, which is what Grealish does? Yes, he doesn't take risks, if we keep the ball, it's similar to what Silva does. He gets the pre-assists. Like it keeps the team together. It keeps stability. It keeps the ball. I appreciate everything that Grealish does for the team.
I've just seen a comment in there then, and it says like that Grealish can't help the 100 million price tag. No, I get that. And the question is, would you be critical if he was 60 to 75? Yeah, because people are critical of Doku, who was 60 million. But why is Doku allowed to run at players, but Grealish isn't? I'm starting to think that that's because he can't do it. And Pep don't let him do it because he can't do it. But then why isn't he doing it all the time?
He's done it for Villa so many times in the past. He's just
doing
exactly what Pep's telling him to do.
But is Pep telling him to do it? Look, I'm not saying this is my opinion, but is Pep telling him to do it because he simply can't do it? I'm starting to think that is the problem
in the team. We're not a team that take risks.
Because Doku's allowed to take risks. Doku takes risks and gets
the ball when he does it.
and gets criticised.
And when Doku does do something well, it's usually doing something that Grealish does that gets abused.
I don't know. I struggle to see it. I really do. There's clearly a player there.
Doku will go on a good run and get an assist out of it, but nine times out of 10, it results in nothing.
I just think when I look at performances like Sunday, Jack is just completely irrelevant to that whole team. He comes off and we play far better. Brighton, we play far better without him. And I just think that if you're going to go down the route of Doku being an impact sub, then maybe Grealish should be the exact same. Because if he's all about control, then what is the point in having a player who controls a game at 0-0 when you need to win? It's pointless. It's like playing 10 men behind the ball. Go for the win, get the win, then bring him on to control the game. Because I just cannot see what he does when we need to win a game. I mean, we needed to win Sunday and we scored off a corner, but we didn't create a single chance in the whole first half. And did we create anything before he went off? No. He goes off, it changes the game.
I don't think we win that game because Grealish goes off. We win that game because Haaland comes on. It's nothing to do with Grealish.
And the shape changed because Grealish went off. So Kovacic goes in the
direct
when Haaland goes up front. The shape changes like part of that.
If you have Alvarez up front on his own, he's not a striker. He doesn't do what Haaland does. So it changes the shape when Haaland comes on because he's just staying in the box. He's not drifting out onto the wing or anything like that.
But yeah, I would still be critical if he was 60, 75 million because if at this point next year, Doku hasn't kicked on and improved, then yeah, we're going to be having the same conversations. And I know he can't help the 100 million, but just because he's a good-looking lad doesn't mean he's a good player. Like, he can be criticised. And for the last few weeks, to me, he's been shite. He hasn't been good enough.
I think people are forgetting that Grealish has been injured for the majority of this season as well. So it is hard to come back from an injury. It's hard to get consistency, and it's hard in a team that is being constantly rotated as well. How many players in Pep's team get consistent games in a row? Like, unless you're Rodri or De Bruyne or Haaland or Ederson.
Akanji?
Yeah, Akanji's playing pretty much every single game, but the rest of the defence is getting injured every game, aren't they?
Yeah, but I just think for someone who came with such a high reputation, and I was buzzing when we signed him, you know I was, like, for someone who came with such a high reputation, such a high value, such a high commercial value as well, to have had 30 months where you think, even said himself, like, okay, yes, he may well end up with, like, the final 6 months of the treble winning season, he was crucial. No one is denying that. This season, he hasn't been good enough. And by his own admission, by his first season, he wasn't good enough. So,
to be fair, this season, who has been consistently good enough, apart from
I was
Foden?
just going to caveat my own question with that no one has really, other than Foden.
You can't really pick on Grealish. You can't pick on Doku. Nobody's really had a really good, consistent season, and that's been the story of our season. it's hard to pick out one player like you are with Grealish. I'd probably do the same with Doku, but nobody's had that run of games to consistently meet the form because everybody's been getting the odd injury, haven't they? It's kept them out for weeks, and like just form in general hasn't been the best this season, but we still managed to scrape through.
I just want him to do what he did at Villa, and I get that it's partly
he had a
down
completely
to Pep,
different role at Villa.
but he's good enough.
Was,
if he's
he
good
was
enough to do it,
practically given a free role, wasn't he? He could just do whatever he wanted at Villa. He was the captain. He can take control of the game. He can drop deep. He can run. But at City, he's part of a system. He can't just do what he wants, and he's part of a ball retaining system as well. It's all about possession. It's about keeping the ball, and Jack is the best at keeping the ball.
I just think it's wasted. I really do. I think that
I do agree that he could do more if you let him off the leash, but he's doing exactly what Pep wants him to do.
I think that's what frustrates me, and I don't know whether because no one wants him to do better than I do, but I just think it's just like I said, it's just to me it's wasted. It's a complete waste because you've got a player there that's so valuable and so much of an asset to this team, and he's just not doing it. Like,
no, he's just not doing what you want him to do. He's doing exactly what he's being told to do.
I do think that's a waste, though. I really do. I think that's a complete, and I think as well that is a failure from Pep as well. I don't think Pep's let him like grow as he should have done. We clearly had a good player there.
We've still got a good player,
but he's nowhere near the level he could have been at when we signed him 3 years ago. Nowhere near. Would we get 100 million for him now? No chance. We'd be lucky to get 40. But the only reason we would probably get above 50 is because he's got 4 years left of his contract. And you wouldn't get close to what we paid for him now. There's absolutely no resale value there whatsoever. And yeah, you could say that about all the players we've had, but
I think there's probably two players in the team right now who would get more than what
exactly
Haaland
and Foden, because anything would be a profit on Foden. But
but I just think there's someone we signed.
I don't think you'd make anything more on any of the players we bought, really.
Edison?
Yeah, potentially Edison, Akanji because he was so cheap, but possibly no one else.
Just quickly before we carry on, I just want to say to everyone watching this video, watching this stream, 381 people watching this stream from Twitter and YouTube. Thanks so much for all the support and the comments and all the likes. I really appreciate it. So we're not done yet. We'll a bit more to chat about than then, but I just want to say thank you very much for all the support. Really appreciate it. First time doing a Twitter stream and YouTube stream together. Look, these are our opinions. Everyone's got one.
I don't hate Grealish. I don't hate Grealish at all. I love Jack Grealish. But I just think for someone who's so valuable, just do it. Like, I get that's what Pep wants you to do, but if he's got the talent, then I really do start to question whether Pep does believe he can do it. Because if Pep ain't letting him, there's a reason Pep ain't letting him. And it ain't just about possession because there's other players there who can control it. I don't hate him. I love him. But I just think that we've got such a value and asset. He needs to do more. He could do more. Maybe I've worded it wrong. Like he could do a lot more.
Right. Moving on from Grealish, let's go on to Haaland. A positive for a change. Great to see him back after, it's been one of those years for him, I'd say. He definitely should be on way more goals than what he's on. He's 32 and 40 is still great, but he should be on 50. That sounds a bit mental, but the chances he's missed, let's be honest, it shouldn't be far off his last year's total. He's had a pretty inconsistent year. Chances missed way too many times. Madrid should have at least 2 or 3 that game. Far too many times where he's had game where he should be on way more. But I think Forest was the old Haaland. The confident, running at players, dribbling, ability to take on his man, great finish. That's the Haaland that we signed last season. That's the Haaland that we don't need to see every game going forward now. Because I tell you, right, when he's got that form and De Bruyne's on it as well, it's a unstoppable duo at Northern top. I generally feel like this has to be the season where if you get end the season on a high, is that out? If we get end the season on a high, these two are going to be important parts of it. Because that assist that De Bruyne gave to Haaland, what we were doing last year consistently on an every game basis. And I think now is the time where that has to be going forward every game. Wolves, Fulham, Tottenham, West Ham, United, it has to be every game now. And Haaland, we saw, and we all agree, was the Haaland that we saw from Dortmund. What a goal and what a better play. Brilliant. You see that, man.
Could have asked for a better time for Haaland to come back fully fit and in form. Like that was the perfect way to reintroduce himself.
Totally agree. I think just the little woohoo at the end summed it up, didn't it? That was perfect.
His little Homer Simpson.
Yeah, he literally summed it up because it wasn't the best performance. But at the end of the day, we can sit here and we can criticize all we want, but what else can we really do other than win the game? Nothing.
Okay.
It wasn't a great performance against Forest. If Chris Wood could finish, that would probably have been like a really embarrassing loss. But it wasn't great, but we still managed. And they say great teams still manage to scrape wins, don't they? Like champions find a way to win games.
We dug it out. We got the win. So
we got through it. It was a tricky game. We said it would be a tricky game. Forest made it really difficult for us at times, but we did it, and that's all we need to say about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a week now, as much as I'm sure Pep and the players would love to be considering who starts tomorrow away at Bayern, they can just go home, they can relax, they can watch the match tonight, no pressure, go in training tomorrow, probably had yesterday and today off, back into training tomorrow, focus on the next one. Absolutely no pressure, go there, win. And who knows?
They'll just be happier to get a rest, won't they? Roger especially.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be a huge help. And
they've all looked absolutely exhausted this season.
Oh, mate. Yeah.
You can see that in performances. Like they just look knackered.
So the week is a bit of a blessing, I think.
Which is why I think the club didn't fail in the summer. People were going to have a go at me for this, but the summer we didn't, not say enough players in, but we didn't buy the quality we needed in the summer. I judging by who we brought in midfield, it was clear Bellingham was the one we wanted. It was clear that he was the one we were hoping to get in to help De Bruyne out and to be that main forward. Look, we didn't get him, fair enough, but there wasn't any player I would have gone for. Obviously, Paquetá didn't happen either, fair enough, but it's kind of like I think who we got in, like Kovacic has been overall. I think for how much got obviously for him as well is a good deal. I think overall, but when he does leave, it'll be a signing that probably wants to see title and pick up hopefully as well this season. But I feel like for me, it just this summer's big. I know that isn't going to happen yet. We've still got 4 games to go to the FA Cup final, but this summer is going to be huge. If you want that Champions League back, we need quality, top level quality. I think keeper and defense is fine. Midfield definitely could do a few upgrades. Attack maybe one or two, but we're not far off of getting back to where we were last year. But I think we definitely have run out of gas this year. But it's a shame. Look,
yes, we need a backup for Rodri, a backup for De Bruyne, a new winger, and 2 fullbacks. I think. Yeah,
5 players minimum, and I think that is probably why I feel like when I look at last year's team. Gundogan was like that cover we needed, and Mahrez was that kind of player that could just change a game like that. And that is what we missed this year. In the games that we needed to get out, like wins out of, like especially like Arsenal, and Mahrez and Gundogan were ideal for games to get in there where Rice couldn't get you, or Saliba couldn't get you, nicking a goal, 1-0, win the game. And also the big games, not good enough. Simple as. We've got a win against Chelsea in the semi-final. In the league, from the East, it's been pretty poor. Draws, too many draws, too many chances wasted. It's been look. If we win a double, it's a brilliant, unbelievable season. Like what people say, it's still ridiculously insane to get a treble and a double back to back. If we do it, is ridiculously good. It's because the standards are so high now that it's seen as okay, it's nothing. It's still brilliant. A double is insane, but because we've hit such a high level of standard, it looks like very different.
You have an ice cream, yeah? I was cancelled for copyright.
Oh god. Anyway,
we're not sponsored by ice cream on this channel.
No.
But I just felt with the season, I think, especially the Forest game. Obviously, we got the win, but I think everyone can see it. We definitely need some improvements in the summer. We need some improvements. I think we'll get them. I think the club know that, but I think we've got to realise now we've got to spend big money now. We can't just scrounge about now. Like there's something you can do that for, but for some positions you need to spend big. I think we need to get like a Musiala Kimmich level player in that team. A big sign that's going to say we're here to compete next year. Champions League, we want it back. Want number 2. We want to really build our sort of team back up again. Look, no matter what, right? If we win a league title, win FA Cup, or just what a league title, it's still a great season anyway. To win a trophy like that, a big one like that, is still incredible in itself. But we can't sit here and just pretend everything is okay. I'm sure everyone who watches the stream now could agree with me as well. A lot has to improve, obviously, in going forward in the summer after the season ends. But until then, we'll obviously carry on with what we've got. But I think to have that week's break is huge. Because I tell you, right, playing tonight against Bayern, we might have got through it, but I tell you, right, it would have been pulling the squad apart to even get against, because I think Harry Kane as well right now is on fire. And I know before for Tottenham, this is a Kane for Bayern, a high level Harry Kane. I think tonight might have been too much for us tonight. So I think we might have been spared a semi-final exit, which would be even more painful.
I agree.
So it's a shame. Look, I'm going to. I posted a tweet today saying that I'm mixed feelings about tonight. You know, not being in it. You know, I love being a semi-final competition towards the end, having a final at Wembley if possible. But it's clear that this team was ran too ragged. It was had way too much to do. Not enough quality in the team overall to sustain it. But to be in the chance for a double is still insane. Obviously, one game at a time, not punching for match. Obviously, Wolves is the game on Saturday, which we'll talk about before we end the stream in a bit. It's still as simple as it's still simply have to win. Unfortunately, I think is Cunha back in it. Back, I think, for the game.
Yeah,
on Sunday?
I believe so. He come off the bench on Saturday, Sunday. He played like 20 minutes as well. Neto's out, I think.
Okay, but
Cunha's
still,
back,
it's gonna be hard.
So,
it's gonna be a hard game.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a hard game. But
if
the right mentality, play the right way. But again, it's simply put, it's one game at a time. I know people hate hearing that time, but it's the truth. If you want to win stuff, you just what you got to do. You can't think of 2 hours. I can't think about next games because I've got this game to think about. We'll win on Saturday. Cool, because look, Arsenal are Bournemouth, and I'm being right. Even Arsenal better them. Bournemouth aren't that bad a team, you know. Not a bad team. I'm not saying Arsenal will lose or draw. And then win. I've got to assume that every game Arsenal have is a win. Every game they'll have is a win, because they will be up for it. The end of the year strong. say, all right, they win it again, but we're getting close to City because they are getting close to us. Can't say them. Yes, they've still got the odd stuff here and there, but they're getting better in certain games. I reckon next year they'll be even better. Which
Yeah,
this
they'll
summer
improve.
is huge. Because I think if I'm being my first controversial, if we don't buy the right players this summer, we'll win the league next year.
To do it 5 in a row will be almost impossible anyway.
Yeah, I'm not even asking for that. I'm just sort of thinking that if we want to keep up this momentum, this summer's crucial.
Yeah.
Even more than last summer. Again, that's a whole stream in itself. We'll obviously discuss post cup final and obviously in towards the end of May, start of June. But yeah, Wolves, big game, lads. Huge game. Every game's big now. It's a final. And obviously us three will be there. We're this time. Maybe I'll be in the South Stand this time, but it's still all three of us will be there on the day. I'm sure we'll meet up beforehand before the game starts anyway. But yeah, how do you guys feel about this game?
Fine. I don't really have any worries, to be honest.
No, me neither.
You have the Wolves bias, but we can't really worry about Wolves.
We can.
If
they don't have Traore anymore, do they? So it's not
if
going to
they
be.
had a fully fit squad, I'd be a little bit more nervous. But
we're at home. We're playing Wolves. It's a must-win game, like all the other games coming up. Like if we don't beat Wolves, that's it. I think. But
yeah,
if we don't beat any of the last 4.
It has to be straightforward. Just turn up, get the job done. Like control the game, keep Wolves out of it. That's it.
Nunes hat trick.
Nunes won't even play.
If Bolton shouldn't even play. I think it's just Haaland and De Bruyne have to play. They've got every game. Them two must be the ones, and obviously Foden as well. The three we've got to be playing at every game. We've got like one game a week now, apart from Tottenham and Fulham. It's 5 games to end the end season on a strong point. Put our best ever season ever. The trophies, apart from the Champions League, fine. Disappointment. To win the UEFA Super Cup and the Club World Cup and potentially another league title and FA Cup is ridiculous. I'm just gonna say, like, look, ain't done. No one should get excited yet. Still got to get through every game first. Get it done, then celebrate.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling good. But again, I ain't assuming anything. Wolves are still a difficult team. Any team's difficult. Fulham difficult. Tottenham. You got to be very respectful of who you play.
Yeah.
Because this league will humble you. It will humble you. So, yeah, bring it on. I reckon I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. It won't be easy, but I think we'll have enough through Haaland and De Bruyne to get through. I think it'll be another good performance overall. As long as we sort of stay compact and stay composed, we'll be fine. But 3-1.
4-0.
Sorry,
well, unlike you two, I have to go and live with a Wolves fan who happens to have commented, "Come on, you Wolves." So I need to be very careful how I word this, or I am going to get or I'm no longer going to be getting married.
9-1.
So I am going to say 10-0. No, I'm joking. Look, I think even the most hardened.
No disrespect to Wolves, but we need to turn up and we need to get the job done.
Yeah.
And if we do have a fully fit squad now, don't we? So
yeah. And I think
you
even
you sort of have to expect at home we are going to get a result out of it. No
I think
disrespect, but
yeah,
we
the most hardened Wolves fan is probably thinking the same. And
at this time of the season, like
yeah,
when you need to win all of your games to win the title,
They're one of the teams you'd pick, aren't they? At home.
Yeah.
I am not going to disrespect Wolves. I'm not. I can't because my other half wouldn't disrespect City. But I just think, but if Wolves had a fully fit squad, like all their key players, like the like Neto could start, Cunha could start, Hwang to start, all of those, Dawson as well at the back. If they had those key players, then I would be slightly more conservative about it and be like, bit more nervous.
They have a good team. They have a good squad. They play good football on their day. But like you say, injuries, everything's currently in our hands, and we're playing at home.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I'm not going to do a score prediction on this one, but I'm just going to say that as a City fan, well, no, I do, yeah. As a City fan, then yeah, City win, but we'll see on Saturday, won't we?
What score?
What?
It's frozen on it. I don't know.
What did you say?
What score?
What score?
What? I'm not saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
Say it. Come on.
Say it. Same as Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Respectful. Right.
As long as it's a win, that's all I care about. I don't care about the score.
And I'm not being funny. My Wolves supporting other half would rather we beat Wolves to win the league than Arsenal win the league. So hopefully she won't be celebrating the goals against their team, but she would quite happily forfeit a win if it means Arsenal don't win the league. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win, hopefully.
Absolutely. Right. Well, we've also almost 90 minutes, almost a full game of football on the stream today. Discussed all that. 420 of the people currently in watching us right now. I'm sure it probably is correct, hopefully, but if not, it is. But to have that many people watching us on the stream is incredible. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Jump over to our channel on YouTube and subscribe to our we'll get to 1,000 subscribers hopefully in a quick amount of time. Obviously, help us on the way there. It'd be great. We'd be much appreciated. And yeah, this is what we're doing every week. We'll try and do more stuff, obviously more streams over the summer, and obviously going forward next season. It should just sort of get us into sort of the routine of doing it and sort of discussing a more, more as as fans. Obviously, all different opinions, as you can sort of see with Grealish and a conversation itself, which will obviously have many more to come. So obviously, have that to look forward to in the next few weeks. But yeah, I hope you very much enjoyed us. Just discussing the Brighton game, the Forest game, and also the game coming up on Saturday. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, we've got episode 10 coming out next Tuesday. It should be great. Hopefully, we'll be discussing a good win against Wolves. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's a win against Wolves. Hopefully, and yeah, I much enjoyed the stream. You guys, you're anything before we end the stream?
Cheers for watching. You don't know how much we appreciate it. Honestly, like the support's been great. We're literally three mates having a laugh. And yeah, you might not agree with some of my opinions, but who agrees with everyone, eh?
Absolutely. Don't agree with any of your opinions.
That's why we're mates.
But thank you very much for watching, everyone. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. I'll link it in the actual comments, or I think it'll be linked anyway on the actual page of the stream anyway. So you can go over and subscribe to it. And yeah, we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Peace.
See you next week. Thank you.